Working on a 2000 GMC 1500 four-wheel drive, and as usual, no brakes. Was thinking maybe it was a booster problem. Kind of looks like maybe it's been leaking, but I think it has a new master cylinder on it. So it looks like that's been replaced at some point. Brakes go to the floor, but I stepped on the pedal, and yeah, I've got fluid coming out here out of something. But this thing has no brakes at all, nothing. No front brakes, no rear brakes, just nothing at all. And you get pedal to the floor. I can hear it moving fluid. That all seems to be pretty wet right there. Looks like there's a union there. Somebody's fixed a brake line before. Oh, hell, look at that. Some brake fluid running out of there. Yeah. So where's it coming from? Oh, right in my face. Ugh. Brake fluid in the face. Get my short man stool over here. Yeah, there's a repaired brake line there. That's just typical with these models of Chevys. I don't know, I'm sure they all do it, but it seems like I've had to put a lot of brake lines on these particular trucks. It doesn't really seem the mileage has an effect on them. They just rot out. Alright, pulled the inner fender well out of the way and got a blown brake line right there. Rusty, crusty thing. Right, let's get the light on there. Oops, turn the light off. Right there. It just so happens that I had a brake line kit from one of these trucks. They're all kind of the same. About the only thing that changes is the length of them for quad cab, regular cab, long bed, short bed. So I already had these pre-made lines because that line runs up here to the master cylinder. And I think it goes back to the ABS module under the cab. So I've got both of them that are actually at the master cylinder. That's the other one. So I had bought a truck that came with a kit of stainless steel brake lines, and I didn't end up using these two. So we'll figure out which one goes there. Okay. I determined that it's the back line from the front one's already had a repair done to it. Get it right. 14 mil. Okay. That came loose. Like I said, it kind of looks like it's had a master cylinder put on it. That just doesn't look like original. It's hard to believe anything's standard anymore. Got that loose. I don't want to take that out because I think that'll drain. I'll make a mess. And then we need to figure out which one that is underneath. Okay, so that line runs through there, comes down, runs along there, jumps over the frame, and ends up there. So we are that one right there. I've already started loosening it. Rusty, rusty, rusty. Everything rusty. So when you buy the brake line kits, in order for them to package them, it's a decent sized package, they fold them up. So they give you little tape marks. Tells you where to straighten them. And then that one. So these are two different ones. This is C10 and this is C9. I'm kind of having some trouble deciphering which one is which. This bend is a little bit bigger than this bend. The ends are bent a little bit different. By the time I get this thing shoved in there, I don't think it's really going to matter which one I use. They look to be about the same length. Looks like maybe 10 is a little bit longer. So I think this says bend straight. Bend straight between. Oh, so they give you two stickers here, and you need to straighten this bend out. So you would open it up, but for right now, I'm gonna have to kind of straighten all these bends out some to get it shoved back in there. lines seem like a good idea until you go to install them. That fancy thing right there with all the lines going into it, that's your ABS pump. Just what makes your ABS function. Still right here. And there's the new line right there. Okay, a little brake bleeding tip for you. This is an adjustable curtain rod. It's spring loaded. See that? So you get that thing adjusted out where you can mash it on the pedal, pump up your pedal, whatever you need to do. And then if you set the back up on your seat, push that in there, it compresses those two rods, and when you open your bleeder, it has some pressure on it that it can push on the brake pedal. This is what I've used forever. If you don't have somebody to help you, step on the pedal and do it by yourself, that works great. Come back. You can even use this to pump your pedal. Just make sure that you compress it some so that it has some spring to push on the pedal when you open your bleeder. And you just kind of screw it to make it longer. Like that. We got the new brake line put in. You can kind of see it back there. I don't know if I said this before, but I already had a couple of these pre-made out of a kit that I hadn't used yet. So I put that one in. I got the scanner to run the ABS to bleed the brakes, and then we were pumping the pedal to bleed the brakes and blew another line, which is typical of these damn trucks. I don't know if like Chevy put salt in their brake fluid from the factory. I don't know, or somebody was standing there making the tubes with a salt shaker. I don't know why they rot out like they do. But I bought a stick of 1/4-inch brake line, so we'll just make one up. I don't have another like pre-made one. It'll work out fine. It actually went to the left front wheel. So the way these systems work is your fluid comes out of your reservoir and it actually goes down to the ABS module that's under the cab, and then it sends the fluid out from there. So the line coming back from the ABS module to the left front wheel is what blew out. It had already been patched once from about halfway down the frame rail down there to the wheel, but the rest of it was old. That's what blew out, so we're going to patch it in from there out, or maybe we'll just make a whole line. I don't know if I bought a long enough piece. And then we'll see if we can get it bled. Go from there. So I didn't worry about finding the one that had the right fittings on it. I'm just going to reuse my fitting so it's the right one. And I'll just cut one into this tube off. Got the new piece of line in there. I was thinking, I wasn't thinking, I guess, I don't need to flare the other end. That's why I bought that line to begin with. So all I had to do is cut one of the flared ends off, take those fittings off, they're already on it, put my fitting on, screw it into the block, run the line up here, and then I'm just connecting it with one of these fittings so you don't have to flare this end. I always make a good plan and then I don't follow through with what I'm talking about. And I didn't bend this line, run it back where the original one was at. There's no point in doing that. This truck's 23 years old, has 200,000 miles on it. We're not doing a restoration here. We just want it to work and work safely. These trucks, you gotta actually hook them up with a scanner to bleed the brakes. And they've been kind of drained like this. Whole system's been drained. So this is, what is this? This is Altel MK808BT. Really good scanner for the hobbyist. Well, maybe for regular mechanic, I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Not cheap by any means. Best thing to do is go in with a buddy, pay half on it. Diag to do this. GM. Manual. A lot of cars will start buzzing and clicking and making all kinds of noises when it's connecting. This is 2000 light duty GMC truck. It is K-Series 4-wheel drive with 5.3. I don't know if it has an air pump or not. Don't care. We've got hot functions, brake bleed, automated bleed, continue, fluid level, park, we're in park, hold the brake, and you hear the pump underneath the truck running. Okay, I got all the lines replaced, and we've tried to bleed it. I took it out for a drive. Everybody, you look on the internet and they say, you can bleed it with the scanner. That wasn't working. Well, I mean, it was working. You could hear it running, but it wasn't helping bleed the brakes at all. So a lot of people on the internet say to take it out and just drive it, jam on the brakes, and get that ABS module to run, to get that pump to run, and that'll bleed it out. It's probably got an air bubble in it or whatever. I did that. I do have a little bit of brakes now, but it'll stop, but the pedal's going clear to the floor. So if it's shut off, I can pump the pedal up and I get pressure, but I don't get any pressure at any of the wheels, like at the bleeders. It just runs out. There's no pressure behind it. If I start it up and hold the pedal down and crack a bleeder, it just comes spraying out of there like it's supposed to. But once I start it, the pedal just pushes right to the floor. So I think I've either got a master cylinder or a booster problem. It looks like it's had a master cylinder pedal on it, but it also looks like it had a pretty serious leak at some point for a while, possibly. So I guess it's pretty common for these trucks for the seals to start leaking in the master cylinder, then leak into the booster and run the booster. So I'm going to pull the master cylinder off of the booster and just have a look at that, and then maybe we'll do some tests on the master cylinder while we have it off. It may be bypassing. There's seals inside here that when you push on your brake, it pushes a rod that shoves fluid through the lines to your brakes. If the seals have gone bad in here, then you push on it and it just bypasses. So we'll get this pulled off. We'll get the master cylinder pulled off and see what the booster looks like. I was hoping to be able to... I don't see how that could have ever actually leaked in there. It's got a seal. Huh. Yeah, I'm really thinking it's a master cylinder problem. Or was 9/16? Seems to be one of each. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Just loosen that fitting and there's just a ton of bubbles. Is it normal? That can't be normal. Why would you do that? Like there was just bubbles coming up through there. What is going on? Why would it, when you're loosening the fitting, why would all of a sudden a bunch of air get released? And yeah, I got zero fluid out of that back side. Oof. So this side, you know, I took it apart. There's some fluid come out. This side is absolutely bone dry. And when I cracked that loose, I all of a sudden got a bunch of bubbles coming up into the master cylinder. Huh. Let's take this over to the bench here. See how much brake fluid I can squirt all over the place. So if I push on this plunger, it should move brake fluid, right? Okay. Should it squirt it out of both? Let's do a little pinch bleed then. Maybe it never got done. Whoop. Huh. They got a ton of air in it. What was that, 15? What was that? Okay. That's tight. That's tight. Put our level sensor back in. Okay. Just break the fluid off my hands. Stuff dries my hands out terribly. I don't think I'd ever make it at a Ferrari dealership, would I? Or a Kia dealership. I almost want to break that fitting loose again and see if it... A bunch of bubbles come up in there. That was weird. That was residual. Where's that coming from? I can hear that. It's not from our repair. I can hear brake fluid squirting. I'm not seeing it. Oh. What is that? Is that the booster? Well, ooh, sounds like my stomach after Mexican. That's weird. These merges. Got all the bubbles that time. Ooh. Starting with the booster and see what, if I just have a hard pedal. Nothing else going on. Nothing weird there. Guess let's try to hook up the scanner and do a bleed real quick. Manual selection. GMC truck, K series, K Sierra, 4-wheel drive, air pump, don't care. Like the mud on it. Hot functions, brake bleed, automated bleed, continue. Shift to park or neutral. Gotta hold the brake down. Here we go. Yeah, we blew another brake on. I thought I heard it, I just couldn't see it. It was running around a puddle, it's already there. I thought that all the brake lines over here were coming. Yep, there's an old repair down here that's not repaired anymore, I guess. Bleed again so I can watch it. Okay, trick. Yep. I have no idea what's going on. It stopped running out. That'd be coming out of there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah! Oh. I may have bumped that. Chances are slim. I'm going to try to tighten it up, but pretty much know the results of that. Yeah, that's no good. That's the last brake line to replace over here. So we should be excited about that. Try this again. Yeah. It's just pouring out of it. Yet another line to replace. Have to go pick up a line tomorrow. We are right there. Looks like a little sprayer nozzle on top is just spraying out of there. So I ordered rolls of the line, the brake line, but it hasn't come in, so I just have to go to the parts store and grab sticks of it. So we'll just replace that whole thing there. So we finally got the brakes bled on that 1500. Once we got the master cylinder bled out, come to find out that it had a rear line that was blown, the line that's for the rear side of the ABS module. So we replaced that line. I had that line to put in, so we put it in, tried to bleed the brakes, had a bunch of trouble again. Come to find out that that rear line, you know, it had a hole in it, so once you let up on the pedal, it sucks air back into the master cylinder apparently. So re-bench bled the master cylinder, put it back on, bled all the brakes work great, truck's back to the owner. So yeah, them Chevy trucks, man, they can be a real pain in the butt to work on the brakes, but it's back on the road, and I believe the owner's happy with it. So let's see what we can get into next. I'm working on this 2000 Chevy, or let's see, it's the